I think my idea of hell would be to have a job where I had to do the same thing over and over again, like somebody working in a factory, just picking up one thing from one place and putting it into another, and this just going on, and day in and day out. If it was that kind of job, I would just go mad.
Well, I think the thing I would least like to do, given an option of anything in the world, would be to be the guy who sits in a nuclear power station watching for it to start melting down. You know, the guys who sit there in front of those...
Yeah.
That's just, I mean, it's a revolting thing anyway, but can you imagine the boredom and the responsibility at the same time? It would just be completely terrible. I hate that.
I think the job I don't actually think I would be capable of doing it is to be working as the killing person in an abattoir. I think that would be my... It's self-explanatory why I couldn't do it. Why I can't imagine how people actually do it. I met somebody once who was one of the people that went into a chicken battery, and they'd spend all night, they'd only work in night shift, and just kill chickens. Oh. And I just couldn't comprehend how they managed to do that and how they stayed sane. That would be the worst thing, I think. It would be torture in more ways than one.
Exercise 3.
On the other hand, it would be wonderful to have a job where you were paid a lot of money and you could travel to different countries. Someone like a television reporter or an archaeologist or an anthropologist. I mean, those are the exciting kinds of jobs I'd like to have. I can't pinpoint one, but it has to be a job where I can travel and see different countries and have time to actually stay in those countries and learn a little about those countries and visit exciting places.
Yeah.
What would I like to do? Well, I guess probably the best job in the world would be to play for the New York Mets. I mean, I think you can't beat that. You just can't beat that. Third baseman for the New York Mets.
They fix.
What's that? I mean,
the Mets. Oh, the baseball team. Best baseball team in the world.
Choose another sort of job that I would really like. I would very much like to be a photographer. Because it would give you an opportunity to work with people, but at the same time be independent still. And that's the thing that I always need. I need to be independent, be able to work on my own, and be amongst other people. Very much like you, I think, that have to have other contact, but like to get on with my own thing.
1B. Have you got what it takes to be a... Exercise 2.
I longed to be an air hostess until I discovered that planes crashed, and then I decided I'd be an air hostess who worked on the ground. I think this. I don't know how long I wanted to be an air hostess for. I don't actually think I could be now. Unerringly pleasant on a long journey.
Didn't you have to
endlessly wonderful to people who might be snotty and horrible?
Didn't you have to be a certain height as well?
Yes, and I wasn't that. And they asked for perfect eyesight then, when I was little.
Did they?
And I had glasses, yeah. You had to be perfectly turned out, and those days there was a set of rules about the colour of nail varnish you had, and this and that and the other, and they were so beautifully presented. They were so elegant, and they went all over the world, and I thought this was the height of glamour, be an air hostess.
Now they're flight attendants.
Now they're flight attendants, you know. That's it, I'm stewardesses now, they're flight attendants. Still looking beautifully turned out.
Exercise 4.
You have to be of a fairly strong disposition somehow to be a psychiatric nurse.
Absolutely.
As a friend did become one, but she couldn't make the difference, the change in her own mind between over-empathetic and sympathetic as a nurse, in becoming over-empathetic and feeling with these people, that she actually lost her own sense of identity, and she ended up having a nervous breakdown. She just couldn't make that change.
Does drive you crazy.
She stopped being a good nurse because she was feeling too much for the patients and the type of treatments and things that were there. So I think you have to be a very, very special type of person.
I think that's why I couldn't do it on a full-time basis.
Unit 2. A bit of a nightmare. 2A. Bad dreams. Exercise 4.
Well, I never really had a lot of nightmares or anything, but I did have one this morning. I don't know when. I don't know if it was just as I was waking up or just, but I remembered it very vividly when I woke up. And it's just a little, like an image of I was lying sideways in a car. Just with and I remember the car. It was the car that I had when I was first learning how to drive. and I was lying sideways in this car, and I think it was just as I was lying down, and as I lay down, I put my shoulder, my neck, that really sensitive section right there, and I lay down right into a Doberman's mouth, and he started to bite, and then I started to relax.